The Sons of the Forest has the potential to be one of the best survival games I have ever played. Released in 2023 by Night Games, Sons of the Forest is the follow-up game to the first game released in the series back in 2014. The story follows your character as you are sent to find a missing billionaire on a remote island filled with cannibals. I think what both games in the series have done really well with is not having quests to follow. There's one main goal and the players have complete freedom by how they want to finish the story. And it was a nice touch that both of these games could have been sold as standalone games, but without going into spoilers, I do like that by having played the previous game, the stories mesh really well together, without having to rely on what happened in the first game to understand what was happening. Now before I talk about anything gameplay wise, this game is still in early access and a lot of things can still be worked on and improved upon. So let's start with the main aspect of the game, which is survival. Now survival does play pretty similar to its predecessor, but with Sons of the Forest there's been some great quality of life changes, like having a backpack system where you can easily grab items you need instead of having to go into your inventory every time to grab something. And being able to use a GPS was a great touch and made exploring the huge new map a lot easier. I do however think that as of right now this map doesn't really have any exciting locations. In the original game you had cool locations like the quarry, but in this game,
there's nothing here!
Aside from that, I really liked how survival got a little more challenging, especially at night where if you didn't have a light source, it was impossible to see what you were doing. The weather also had some nice changes, like having clouds blocking the sun changed how the shadows were on the ground, and when the seasons changed to the winter, the water would freeze, limiting my options on how to find food. It was pretty cool too that if you were out in the snow for too long, you would also start to freeze, and that would take a chunk of your stamina bar and stay there until you were able to get yourself warmer. Combat got a little more challenging as well, because in Sons of the Forest, the cannibals are more terrifying than they have ever been before. And in almost every encounter I had with them, they had me like, I think what makes the cannibals different in this game is because most of the time the cannibals won't attack you unless you attack them first. The only complaint I have about the survival is I feel like there really isn't a lack of resources. Half the time I had too much stuff, and I think it's because every time you load back into a save, everything that you looted for just respawns. So I never really felt like I needed to be careful with how much of my resources I was using. I think just tweaking that just a little bit can really add on another level of the survival aspect. Now another thing this game improves upon is the building. I love that Night added the free build aspect because I can really make my base feel exactly how I wanted my base to look like. Being able to add a lot of defenses to bases as well was really cool, but one thing that did bug me was that even if I added defensive walls, cannibals would still be able to break the walls anyway, and had me like, get out of my house! Even with that one little bug, I think that building has had such a fantastic upgrade, and I'm really excited to see what Night plans to add to this game to make building even better than it already is. One of the biggest changes to this game is the addition of companions. So far there are two different companions, Virginia and...
Nope, it's not Ashton Kutcher. It's...
So here's the thing with the companions. They are a great addition for the game, especially for solo players, and being able to have Virginia and Kelvin do different tasks. Like Virginia can fight with you and Kelvin can hunt for you and finish structures. But man, does Kelvin need some work done. Over the course of the game, he would just randomly disappear and sometimes just run away for no reason. Now throughout the game, I never really utilized him that much, but it was nice that I always did have that option to use him for something. He did make a great practice target for my spear though. I think it was a really interesting choice to add companions, but I hope that Night is able to flesh out the companions a little more and make them more of an asset to help players survive in this game. Visually, Night did a great job because this game looks fantastic, and I never felt like anything in this game looked that bad. The plants and water had some well done details, and occasionally I would find myself stopping to see how well the surrounding areas of the map looked.
Yeah, boy.
On a side note, the graphics did make the sledding mechanic a lot more fun than in the first game. Sons of the Forest has so much potential to be one of the best games in this genre. A majority of what is in this game is really well done, or just needs a little bit of changes to make it better than it already is. But I think some parts of this game still need to be worked on because it can start to feel a little empty. The exploration can be hindered at times because yes, the map is bigger, but there weren't really any interesting things to find while exploring the map. I think another thing that could use a little work is how short the story is. Now the story is really interesting, but without spending half your time exploring and building a base, the actual story of this game could be completed relatively quickly, and without much of a challenge either. Night did such a wonderful job with the first game and this one as well, and I hope that the devs can listen to what the community is saying and allow this game to grow into what I know it can be.